And welcome to episode 54 of 2H Reading Comics. Thank you for clicking on this video. Thank you for downloading this podcast. Go ahead and like, share, subscribe, rate, review, all the good stuff. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at 2ADSRC. Our YouTube is 2ADS Reading Comics. Our podcast is 2ADS Reading Comics, and so is our Facebook. So follow us everywhere, like us everywhere. Really help us out. And can't wait. We're going to have a good week this week. And welcome to the best damn book club on the internet. This is 2H Reading Comics, episode 55. This week we are reading Invincible, Volume 3.
Whoop.
Davis, I can't remember if we talked about it before, but you finally finished the show.
I did.
This
Fucked up shit happened, man.
Yeah, the Volume 3 is basically the end of the story arc of the first season of the Amazon Prime Invincible.
Yes.
Incredibly received. I think the only thing that hurt it was also going the same time as Captain America Winter Soldier. But once that wrapped up, Invincible, people quickly learned about it and binge watched to catch up.
I think something that really helped out Invincible was to put out three episodes on the same day.
If you watch that, their title cards don't always mean the end of the episode, and especially on episode 1, you better watch that last 10 minutes. If that doesn't get you hooked, I don't know what you're doing.
But yeah, that show was leaps and bounds more than I thought it was, and then we've been reading the comic with it.
Yes.
It has been superb. Like we said, I think last month, after that opening weekend, they already announced season 2.
Yes.
2 weeks later,
I think they've got
2 weeks later,
seasons.
Announced season 3.
Yeah.
So they're already planning to do season 2 and season 3.
Like we talked about last week with that Brew Breaker, Robert Kirkman, the guy who wrote this, also wrote The Walking Dead. He also went on Fat Man Beyond and talked about when the week before Invincible came out, and they talked about, it's like, show season 1's in the can, we're ready to go. We haven't yet been confirmed for another
this is before the show came out, right?
Yeah, and very quickly season 2 was confirmed. Now they've already guaranteed them a third season. So
now
clearly Amazon likes where it's going.
Now, how much of Invincible is there?
I cannot answer that question.
Okay, because I haven't looked either. I didn't want to get too far ahead. And granted, these are all the borrows off of Comixology.
Yes.
We're cheap sons of bitches. So,
I mean, you pay $6 a month for Comixology Unlimited.
It's borrow. So
yeah,
cool. I get my money out of it. And damn, it's a good site.
Yeah, it is. Wish they would sponsor us. But you want to go ahead and credit some people? Before you get into it?
So for the third time, we got writer and letterer Robert Kirkman, penciler and inker Ryan Otley. Is it OF or OTT? Again, my English is bad and my handwriting's not much better.
We'll go with both of them.
Sorry, it's either OFT or OTT, Otley or Otley, and colorist Bill Crabtree.
I'd go Otley.
We'll go with Otley.
Yeah.
And colorist Bill Crabtree.
Yes.
Again, so where the show ended and where we've just ended are almost spot on.
Yes.
The only difference is there seems to either be some stuff they've created in this first season.
Yes.
That is from future
episodes, that's what I was getting into.
It's filler that they created for themselves.
Season 1. Now this show was. They asked, like, how do I say this? They did a very good job of respecting the source material.
Yes.
There's not a whole lot different. But Robert Kirkman they also asked Robert Kirkman to write the show, and so
what he wrote, I would take as canon. Now, like what he wrote and added, I would.
I would assume there was a bunch of stuff that they set up for in season 1 to go to the future.
Got to.
Because there was some stuff that wasn't in the comic book that was in the show. But for the most part, it stays pretty loyal.
Kind of like the aliens, the time warping aliens, where Omni-Man went and destroyed the universe. At the end of season 1, they have set that up to come back
Yes, but that was also in Volume 1, if you remember.
It
Think
was,
back.
but they didn't show
didn't show
Omni-Man, and
but
they
it
didn't show him
was
come back.
It was Omni-Man came back and was like, "Yeah, I've been in a other dimension for 8 months." Their
Correct.
time, it was only
Yeah.
an afternoon here.
Right, and they had a whole big fight at the beginning of the movie volume.
Yeah.
But the so far in Volume 3, they haven't shown them trying to come back yet, or
Yes.
a hint. And
Well,
of
he
course,
was already back. Because remember?
not Omni-Man, the dimensional creature. Remember that
Oh,
at the
yes,
end
they
of
did-
end of season
yeah.
1, they did a bunch of flashes because
Yeah.
the one-eyed guy
Mm-hmm.
says, "Well, what are you going to do now?" And they do all the quick
Yes,
flashes
yeah.
to get you hooked on
Mhm.
season 2, and all of
Yeah.
them make me hooked on season 2.
But yeah, like the guy who basically used Invincible to take out his boss, so he could take over the Empire. The black guy who can turn into stone.
I loved him
I can't
because he
remember his
reminds me of Luke Cage and
Yeah.
Cyborg,
name.
just big brute guys,
Yeah.
and I love
but
I
I
love the fact
imagine-
that they got to do that, and then he took over the
Yeah.
Empire.
But
And we didn't see him in this. And
you see him at the very beginning. He's the guy that's robbing banks when he's like doesn't have his suit yet.
oh, that's
but
right.
it's fighting-
Okay, in Volume 1. Okay, yeah.
But I bought like the hardcover, which was basically season 1. It was issues 1 through 13,
yeah.
volumes 1 through 3.
Yeah.
But looking up, to go get volume 2 of the hardcover, he's on it. So I imagine that's going to happen
Ooh,
then.
Okay.
But yes, they set up more stuff in the TV show than what's in the comic. But another big difference was Amber was a lot bigger role player in the
show.
In the show, than now maybe going forward in the comic she does, but in this one, she is not.
She's there.
She's there just to have that panel where, what's her name? Adam Eve.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
Adam Eve rolls up after she's, had a hard day. She wants to come talk to Mark, and they're there making out.
Yeah.
And I think in the show, that's right after she finds out that Rex was cheating on her, and she's like, "Good for you, Mark," and flies off all upset and stuff like that. But other than that, I mean, it was pretty chalk.
And of course, the show, you've got to add a lot of more commentary because you can't just have blank panels.
I was wondering the speech that Omni-Man gave, where he pretty much calls his wife a pet. I was wondering if that was in there. I was like,
that was still
God
dark.
damn.
Like I knew it was coming. Well, I was hoping it was coming in the comic because that in the show
line where like
you
Mark's
knew
like, you love her, I know you do, and he's like,
she's
just a blip in my life.
Yeah.
She's nothing more than a pet. And I was like, Jesus.
And something they really made, I think they made a little more clear in the comic than they did the show, is that Viltrumites live for thousands of years.
Yes.
And that the 500 years that Omni-Man was talking about in the show is just the time it that Omni-Man
they give
needed
him 500 years to weaken
the Earth. Then the Viltrumites were coming. And in the show, to me, it was kind of like, okay, they can only live for 500 years.
I think he says thousands at the
Does
end.
he do? Oh, okay.
He does,
all right. Now,
but-
I must have missed that in the whole shit show that was
But I
happening
mean,
at that time.
that was
a very small
that was
blip
after
in the
he held him
conversation.
up to against a subway train.
Oh, God,
and
the subway
murdered
train
him.
in the the subway train scene in the comic was dark and dirty.
Yeah. But
Where-
I mean, he
where they
basically
literally
just crashes
throw
him
him-
into it. But he's
But
not
you still
holding,
see the train bodies hanging out.
Yeah, but it's not
But
like
in the
him
show,
holding
he's
him
holding
up.
his face.
Yeah.
And the train's he's ripping bodies apart as the train hits
Yeah.
him.
That's wild.
That was dirty.
And
Getting thrown through the building.
Yeah.
In the comic, they talked about Omni-Man was like, look what my one punch did to this world.
Yeah.
This is how insignificant this world is.
Exactly.
That we just killed thousands, and I hit you once.
Yeah. Another, I think they did a better job in the comic talking about was, hey, the Guardians of the Globe are dead. Omni-Man just left. No, they didn't do Robot's whole storyline like they did in the show.
No, okay, so I guess
But
that'll probably
setting
come
that
in season 2.
In the comic book.
volume 4-ish or so.
They're both saying, yo, Robot, you better get this team together.
And that's
You're
what they
doing
didn't
well.
show. In the show, they showed them failing, not working. And in the comic, they just had the sentence of...
and then Also, once Mark, recovers from the ass whooping his dad gave him, fucking what's his name? The creepy secret agent dude,
Cecil.
Cecil, is very blatantly like, look,
You're now my bitch.
yeah, like you're my go-to guy.
Yeah.
Even your dad said you will be as strong as him one day.
Yeah.
And we need you to get your shit together now because
apparently something's coming.
We don't know if they're coming back, but we had enough fucking problems here without them. Yeah. So we need you to figure some shit out.
We said this early on in our first issue about an Invincible episode of the tropes that comic books make about things. Something I really enjoyed was Omni-Man, when he's telling Mark his story, makes a big point in telling Mark that Earth is the only planet he's ever seen that is always trying to be conquered by someone.
Yeah.
That he's Omni-Man tells Mark, pointing out that Earth is always under threat from conquerors before Viltrumites even got there.
Yeah.
That
and just natural disasters.
Yeah, he's like
it's like you
just
all
makes
need saving.
Makes a big comic book trope of Earth's always getting the only one that gets targeted.
Yeah.
And Omni-Man makes a point of going, yeah, this was weird. He's like, no other world is targeted this much.
Incompetent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which kind of adds to the point of everyone thinks Earth is just a shithole. Just fuck Earth.
You see that in real life, like.
Well, yeah, and we still think Earth's a shithole.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely. They take the comic book tropes, but somehow embrace them, and to the point where like it's a trope you've seen it a million times, but they do it the right way. So.
I didn't see too many tropes. I hadn't seen as many since Volume 1 when we really focused on it. I guess the biggest one here is
once you see Omni-Man flip on the Guardians of the Globe, you're like, oh shit, this is different.
I guess the biggest trope here is Immortal keeps getting killed and keeps getting brought back to life, or will keep getting brought back to life. Yeah. He's seen on the table with in the whitewashed world.
Yeah. How about that? The government lacing, so cool. Lacing
the water
in the country that they can choose what you see and what you don't. Yeah. And he's like, you'd be surprised how often we use this.
Yeah. It's like, fuck. What do you think? Oh, okay. In the show, they've got their soldiers that kind of flash in and out. You think that's what that is?
That and probably just giant buildings and stuff on the side of desert highways and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and like secret facilities, like Area 51's probably like that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I did enjoy that.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the comic, when Omni-Man, where Mark Invincible's laying on the bed and Cecil comes in and talks to him for the first time after he wakes up. Yeah. Cecil's going through this big story and then stops and goes, "Sorry, I'll let you get back to it," and walks out. And he looks like if Omni-Man's in front of him talking to him, he looks to his right, and there's he focuses on somebody, and then he walks out. Who's he talking to? Who's in the room with him?
I did not catch that.
You didn't catch that?
No.
Because Cecil's going through he's going through the speech of, your father's gone, he's been this place,
I think it's just because Mark's just sitting there like processing what he's just been through, and he's like, right, I'll give you a moment to get your shit together. Because, I mean...
Okay, all right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I could see it that way, or somebody... Because I was sitting there, it was like, it wasn't Adam Eve. No. It wasn't Robot. Because Robot didn't even know where he was. So, his mom wasn't there.
No, I think it was...
Like, who could...
I think he looked at Mark, because it shows Mark just sitting there kind of like...
Not even paying attention.
No, just like,
still
what's going
bloodied.
On? Yeah. And he literally just woke up and stuff like that.
Okay, that makes sense. Still calling his mom a pet. She's just a pet to me. Yeah. Oh. And then just starts the ass whooping again.
And that line of, why are you defending these people? Like, when they're all dead and gone, what will you have? And he says, I'll still have you. And it's just like, oh. And then Omni-Man starts to tear up. He's like, God damn it. And just leaves.
Yeah.
Going out for cigarettes and never coming back. Or at least I hope he doesn't come back.
You know he's coming back.
Oh, you have to.
Something, I know they don't really address time and how fast the guys can travel in space and shit. But how long do you think? Because all right, so Mark fought the one-eyed guy.
Yeah.
Because the dude was testing Earth's people,
and
then he went back to his group.
Yeah.
Weeks later, and then made it back to Earth to tell them that Viltrumite was there.
Yeah.
Viltrumite. How long do you think it's going to take? Like, all right, so you've got these two issues going to happen. You know, Omni-Man's going to tell Viltrumite that they either need to go take Earth now, or say fuck it and move on.
Yeah.
Well, if they come back now, they can take it over easily. Just got to beat Mark.
Yeah.
Because you can see one Viltrumite can literally take over the world by itself. So an army would do nothing. And then, so you've got Omni-Man getting back to his people, but then you've also got the one-eyed guy with the group of Earth.
I think Gary the alien, or Alan the alien.
Yeah, and then you've got his group that he's with.
Yeah.
How long is it going to take for them to get with the other group to then form an alliance to then stop Viltrumites?
I don't know. If I was
the time thing here is going to get really fun.
I'm not sure. If I was a writer, I would give it a few story arcs before I went to that.
Oh yeah, definitely give it a while. But
I know at some point we do go to space because I've heard. He also came back after the season. Robert Kirkman also went back on Fat Man Beyond after the season thought, and Kevin Smith asked him like, "Where do we go from here?" He's like, there is a huge chunk of this series where we're in space. So it wouldn't surprise me if Alan the alien comes back and then they take the fight to Viltrumite.
Keep it off of Earth.
Yeah.
Take it to somewhere else.
So, but I'm not 100% sure. But I guess we're going to have to keep reading, or we're just going to wait for season two. Now, that's the question is, what are you going to do? Are you going to wait for season 2 to come out and then read it? Or are you...
I don't know, man, because I don't know.
Like, because I've gotten to the point with comic books and movies, and even like actual books and shows and movies. Like I'm kind of excited for the Dune movie that's about to come out.
But you know, it's not the book.
Well, from what I've
or it's the comic.
From people who have,
book, right?
Yeah, it was a book. From the people who have read the book, they're saying this looks a lot more faithful to the book than the old Dune movie, and they seem very excited about it. And so I'm like, do I want, like, I think I'm going to go movie first and then go read the book.
So, all right, this is kind of out of, I've never read the Harry Potter books.
I have
up until very recently. Because I got the Audible subscription. I've listened to them now 3 times because I'm now sucked into the world of Harry Potter now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's these guys called
I know there are
Jay versus Ben. Jay versus Ben. And they're pretty much nothing but Harry Potter guys. Okay. And they do these questions and stuff. Love listening to them because now I'm in the Harry Potter world.
Yeah.
I watched the movies first, and then I've gone to the books.
I know I don't know about the first one, but I think there is like a bunch of stuff that was in the books that didn't make it to the movies.
Extreme.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, the shortest book was 8 hours, and the movie is 2 hours.
Oh, Lord.
So, I mean, and that's where I was going is I enjoyed watching the movies because you get the idea of the world.
Yeah.
Understand what's happening, what the guys creating the movie can do for the movie to present a story.
Yeah.
And then you go and read the book, and you go, okay, I see where they pulled this. I see where they turned this character into this. And you can see it, but you have to understand, like the people bitching about movies, and I've had this critique on here before, is if you have a book template to go off of, try to keep it close. Yes. And I think the Harry Potter movies do it better than some.
There is also the thing of a lot of times the book is better than the movie.
Well, the book's always better than the movie because the book, you can sit in a book and write it for
I had a
20-something hour book.
Yeah.
But to take 20 hours of content to a 2.5-hour movie, there's a lot of shit going to hit the cutting room floor.
I've had a friend make the convincing argument of you watch the movie first because if you like it,
that's where I was going with.
Then you'll love the book.
Yeah.
And then you also get to read the dialogue and you know what the characters look like in your head. You also get to read it in their voice, which is enjoyable.
Which I get to do with Harry Potter now.
But then you also have you don't have the reverse of where the book was so much better. Like I can't believe they didn't do this.
I think you do movie, then you go to the book.
Yeah.
And you watch and listen and read or whatever. Where Star Wars, and I've had this critique on here before, is they had the movie and then they went and wrote the book.
Yeah.
And filled in questions just to appease the public.
Yeah, I don't like that.
They literally wrote the book after the movie, and the critiques that people had about the movie about, well, what did she do this? How did she get this? They just wrote it in a line in the book to fix it.
Let me ask you a question. Did they ever answer what Finn was supposed to tell Rey?
I believe he was supposed to tell her that he was force sensitive. That's what they wrote into the book, I believe.
If you're watching the video, you know I'm shaking my head
I know,
because,
yeah, they should have gotten together.
I'm not even that, but, like, you should have had that. Like, how you...
Finn,
that was a major point in the movie.
He should have been... Yeah. They did him wrong, and Disney did it all wrong with the way they kept jumping back and forth between directors.
I think at some point you just have to be like, look, fans, this is the story you're getting. I'm sorry if you're not happy with it. We're doing our best.
And right, and it's out. It is canon. It is what the world is now, and it sucks. No. But sorry,
with the Snyder Cut coming out. I think
the Snyder Cut to
that's
me
a door
will
you
ruin. Will
that's
ruin
a door
movies.
You cannot come back from.
No,
of giving fans a reboot just because they weren't happy with it.
Yeah, you can't have hatred for a movie and then, hey, we've got this extra one sitting on the floor here.
Yeah.
We'll give you it and make you happy.
Yeah,
you can't have that. No. Like you said, it's got to be what's come out is what's come out, and that's it.
And the only way you're really going to stop these people from fucking up movies and stuff is you got to hurt them financially. If you're not liking what either the MCU, DCEU, or whatever
stop buying their shit.
You got to stop supporting them.
Don't buy Disney Plus. Even though it's got all the shit on there, buying Disney Plus feeds to the MCU, feeds to the Marvel world. I mean,
MCU, I haven't had too many complaints about that. So.
No, but you see my point. Is if you don't like it, it sucks that you don't get all the other stuff.
Yeah.
But that's where you hurt them. Yeah. If you don't want it, don't buy the shit.
Yeah.
And I guess going back to Invincible is, it's different than the comic.
Yeah.
But
this is ultimately coming down as like
they wrote.
I brought up this whole conversation. Get back to what we were talking about is I'm gonna have to find out like how long are we gonna have to wait for season 2? If it's more than
that's gonna be a big.
If it's
big
more
issue.
than a year, I'm
probably gonna have to go read.
I'm probably ordering volume 2 of that hardcover back and reading that.
Yeah, but like I said, it kind of depends how we go with reading, and I'm already got a backlog of shit. This is up in my backlog, but again, I kind of want to watch it, knowing that there's already content for it. Go back and then read the content, fill in some blips. Yeah. Again, having content beforehand to build off of, I'm okay with watching going backwards, going to the hard copy. But having movie and then just creating content just to appease the public, I think is bullshit and wrong.
But could you imagine? And like we read volume 2 before episode 1 came out, and that twist at the end, and it just didn't blow our mind. For Invincible, we see the twist of Omni-Man killing the Guardians of the Globe.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if that was him? Because we read volume 1 before the show came out.
That's right.
And then we get to the show and we're just like expecting a nice, happy show. And
episode 1, sing.
Yeah, he murders an entire like offshoot Justice
the
League.
literal strongest people of the world.
Yeah, and so it's just
and they don't touch him.
Yeah,
though he passes out, which was a little. They never
because they actually
that.
fought back. They didn't fight back in the comic book.
Well, they didn't really fight back in the show either.
What is it, Red Blur or whatever? He was punching the shit out of him.
He was punching the shit out of him. Okay.
Yeah.
And then
they got their lips
Immortal
in the
did
show.
get a couple shots in.
Yeah.
The woman did smack him across the face with her warhammer.
Before he turned her head around. But
Warhammer hits him across the face. He just reaches up and goes sing.
Yeah.
The scene in the movie was really fucked up. Sorry.
I was gonna make a point, but I forgot, so I guess we'll just figure it out later. But
they've gone on a few rants that were.
But we are we're right in the middle of time.
But you see how great this comic and show it's amazing.
And we're eventually gonna get to Robert Kirkman's. I think it's still going. Oblivion song. It's coming up pretty soon. I don't know when, but we're gonna get to that also, and hopefully it's as good as Walking Dead and Invincible. So.
If it's Kurt, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah. But next week we got 5 Ghosts.
5 Ghosts.
Very cool story.
Yeah. Very interesting indie that we got to read this week.
Yeah. I will save my thoughts for that for next week though. Hope y'all have a good week, and we'll see y'all next Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye.